now going to look and focus on youth and food-related health conditions, because recent research shows that 1 in 3 children across the UK and the US and 400 million children worldwide are now at risk. They're at risk of developing a food-related health condition. Now, young children are well aware of the food industry's role here, and many need your support. They need your support and your help in trying to resolve this. Now, you've met members of the Bite Back community before here at the CGF Summit. They're just absolutely amazing children. And I'm absolutely delighted as well to say that we're going to have the opportunity now to check back in with them. Now, some of what they're saying might make you feel a little uncomfortable. But then, didn't we say on day one that we were going to address some of those elephants in the room? So I think that's what we're going to do now, but let's do this in a spirit of support and making progress. So I'd like to invite now to the stage 2 phenomenal young people. They're going to give us a keynote address, and that is Molly Lewis, who is a food activist at Bite Back 2030, Dev Sharma, who is a youth MP and a food activist as well for Bite Back 2030. Please do give them a really warm hand of applause.
Hi, I'm Molly, and I'm a high school student from the UK.
And I'm Dev. I'm 19, and I sat my last school exam on Tuesday and flew straight here to be with you guys. We're activists with Bite Back, a movement of British teenagers campaigning for those in the food system to do better for the sake of children's health. In 2022, Christina and Jacob stood on stage at the Global Summit in Dublin and called on you, men and women of the food industry, people of untold power, to stand up for action, for change that would protect the future health of millions of children across the world. Here we are 2 years on from that in Chicago, and still nowhere near enough is being done to end an entirely preventable health crisis. Instead, the mighty flood of junk food continues to seep across the globe, whilst the health of an entire generation suffers.
Bite Back is a group of British teenagers. We come from across the UK, but we're campaigning on a global issue. Across the world, food-related health conditions like type 2 diabetes and heart disease are on the rise, and children everywhere are being affected. In the UK, a third of British children are now at risk of having their lives affected or cut short by food-related health conditions. In Vietnam and South Africa, it's 1 in 5. And here, in the US, 1 in 3 children, 1 in 3, are likely to have their life cut short as a result of food-related health conditions. Let me just reiterate. That's the number of children at risk of getting sick or worse because of food that is being manufactured and heavily marketed by companies in this room who are being too slow to take account for the role you play in an entirely preventable health crisis. So how did we get here? To understand that, we need to experience what it is to be a teenager growing up in a broken food system. I'm pretty representative of teenagers up and down the UK. I'm 17. I love listening to music. I love baking and just hanging out with my friends. But every element of my world is flooded with junk food. It pours out of our high streets, school canteens, and supermarket shelves. I can't go see a film or a sports game, listen to music, or even do my homework without being told to eat too much of what just isn't good for me. We live under constant bombardment from junk food advertising. We are targets even in our own bedrooms. You are using the most important days of our lives to target us with junk food marketing. One of my close friends and another member of the Youth Brought Up Bite Back, Alice, sat her GCSEs 2 years ago. She's one of the most academic people I know, so you can imagine how important results day was to her. Straight after receiving her results, the first message she got was not from her family, but from a fast food company, congratulating her and offering a discounted meal if she celebrated with them. Results day, for young people like me, is about our future. It's not an excuse or an opportunity for you to target us. The long fingers of big food reach into every aspect of our lives. Junk food has become the cultural wallpaper, and it is endangering the health of a generation.
It's time for industry to stop pretending you're in the business of indulgence when you spend billions on driving sales. Is it really any surprising with things as they look that it's junk food taking center stage in children's minds? Advertising's only part of it. We must challenge the deliberate and misleading tactics being used to manipulate children. Things like product placements, cute, cuddly marketing, the use of irresistible cartoon characters, sports heroes, music legends, and the hardest for us all, misleading health claims. Okay, who's in the mood for a quiz?
Don't worry, guys. The good news is this should be super easy for you.
So we've created a quiz, and it's called Blood Sugar Bingo. We're going to take some of our favorite brands and ask you, the audience, how much sugar you think is within these products. Let's hit it. A can of Monster. Monster is an energy drink. I mean, I can't walk down my high street without seeing the logo of Monster plastered everywhere. Energy drink, so I assume it must have some sugar in it. So before I ask you guys, I'll give you some context. We spoke to an epidemiologist just earlier today, and he said to us that for an adult to live a good, healthy life, they should only be having around 15 to 20 grams of sugar per day. The maximum amount of sugar you should be having is 30 grams of sugar. And that's what the WHO also says. So with that context, how much do you think one energy drink, how much sugar does it have? I'll give you a starting point. I'll say 20 grams because it's an energy drink. Anybody, feel free to shout out, higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher, okay. How higher? Anyone's got a number?
60.
Okay, the total amount of sugar in a can of Monster is 55 grams of sugar. That's nearly double the adults' recommended sugar, maximum amount of sugar that they should have in a day. And it's being targeted and marketed directly at me.
Alrighty, next up, we got a smoothie. Who doesn't love a smoothie, right? I mean, this is totally marketed towards health. It's called Naked. There are blueberries everywhere. It says no added sugar. We just saw an energy drink, and that had 55 grams of sugar in it. I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm going to say this has 10 grams. What do we think, higher or lower? Let's see. 52 grams of sugar. That is essentially the same as the energy drink that we just saw, and it's boldly claiming no added sugar. Look at this. I mean, this just screams health.
And onto one of our favorite brands, Tony the Tiger. Internationally recognized, internationally used to pump sugar in the form of breakfast cereals at young children. I mean, who doesn't love Tony the Tiger? He's a household staple. And I see some of the health claims up there. No artificial colors. So, what do we think? How much sugar is Tony the Tiger giving in cereal? Well, in 100 grams of cereal, the total amount of sugar is 37 grams. Over a third of the total package is sugar. And who's it being targeted at? Toddlers, young children. Guys, game over. I know that must have been tough. You're making our health and you're making it incredibly difficult for us to navigate in this world. 88% of British teenagers want to eat well. The reality? 6% actually do. You guys are powerful. You're brilliant. You're super talented. Just imagine the world, what it would look like if you used all those skills to improve children's health.
Bite Back recently went to Asia and met young people from across Mongolia and Vietnam, countries whose rich and healthy food cultures are being put at risk by big food companies. In Mongolia, we met a young woman who had recently undergone an operation as a result of a food-related health condition. She said this: "As young people, we should have 1,000 wishes. To be anything that we want to be, and to go wherever we want to go. But already, too many of us have one wish: to be healthy again." Across the world, Bite Back is opening eyes to this issue, and young people, the consumers of the future, are demanding change. You don't have to take our word for it. We want data. We have data. Recently, we worked with the University of Oxford to analyze sales. This is what we found. Most of the sales of the top 10 global food and drink manufacturers in the UK come from unhealthy products. Together, these businesses are responsible for over 90% of advertising spend. To put it plainly, the biggest food businesses in the world are reliant on selling junk food and are spending billions, literally billions, marketing it too often to children.
I'm going to say it again. 1 in 3 British children are now at risk of developing food-related health conditions sometime in the future. We are all staying in this hotel. Can you honestly go back to your room and put your hand on your heart and say that you're doing good enough? In 2022, we asked you politely to consider these structural, systemic issues and to keep open minds and open dialogues so that by 2030, we would have created a world where no child suffers or goes on to suffer from ill health as a result of the food you in this room manufacture, supply, sell, and market to us and our families. If you truly believe in your purpose as a company, as Nestle claims to enhance our lives, then today what we're asking for is your leadership. Start by using your power and influence for good.
That means all of you in this room making a genuine commitment to producing and selling more healthy products in the place of unhealthy ones.
It means reporting publicly and consistently on health as well as sustainability.
It means an end to the marketing of food and drinks that are high in fat, sugar, or salt.
And it means a commitment today to stop using cartoon characters and health and food nutrition claims on the packets of unhealthy products.
So those are our asks of you. We're going to leave you with one final thought. Change is happening. In a year's time, will we be standing before you celebrating your company's progress and your commitment to child health?
Or will you have been left behind? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think you two are absolutely amazing, and I think you show massive amounts of leadership yourselves and courage coming to speak to everybody here. So really well done.
Thank you.
So Molly, just tell us then, because we're listening, everybody was listening intently to what you both were saying, but what's it like being a 17-year-old Molly, living and having to live with a broken food system?
I really wish my answer to this was different. I wish I could sit here and bore you guys with facts about my schoolwork. But truthfully, it's a battle. I think especially as a young woman, and I know a lot of the women in this room will know what I mean, It is a battle every day of my life to find a way to eat healthily. My world is saturated with junk food. I literally can't escape it. I mean, I'm sat here now, I can't think of one thing I could do with my friends that wouldn't involve necessarily junk food. I mean, if we want to go to the cinema, the only place we can afford to get food is a junk food restaurant. If we want to study outside of school, realistically, the only place on the high street that is going to accommodate that is going to be a McDonald's because it's safe, it's warm, and it has free Wi-Fi. How can I find the options that are going to make me be able to live healthily? How?
I don't know, and it sounds like you can't escape it.
Genuinely, I mean, you guys are so good at what you do. You're inside the minds of young people. You know exactly what to do, what colors to use, what cartoons to put on the packages to get us to buy your products. I mean, sometimes it feels like you know what my thoughts are before I think them, and to be honest, it's a bit freaky. But what that means is I'm vulnerable to that. My generation is vulnerable. And that means that you have a responsibility to take care of my health, to look after it, to look after the health of future generations.
That's pretty powerful, isn't it? You have a responsibility. Molly's kind of sitting here in front of everybody saying how vulnerable she feels, and that you have the ability to get inside her mind. And, you know, it'd be possible to get inside your mind and give you better choices. What about you, Dev, when you're listening to what Molly's saying and her experiences? How do they echo with you?
So similar, and so similar for me and my friends. I grew up in an area called a food desert. And for those of you that don't know, a food desert is an area where there's not a lot of access to healthy, nutritious food. So it's a city called Leicester in the UK, and it's one of the most diverse and multicultural cities in Europe. We have such a rich food culture, but it's being wiped out. And food cultures across the world have been wiped out by food coming in. We've seen it in Mongolia, in Vietnam, even in India, where my parents are from. I'll give you guys an example of how I find it difficult to be able to grow up healthy because of the flood of junk food in my high street. I wake up in the morning and I go onto my phone and my influencer is talking about the brands that you guys own. This is someone I look up to. I decide to then walk to school, and every other billboard has an advert from junk food. I think I'm safe when I'm in school, and all my food is ultra-processed, or it's junk food. My canteen is a wall of beige. I think I've just left my school, it's gonna be fine. I leave, and there's a massive billboard right in front of me, a chicken shop just around the corner where we go, and then I try to catch the bus home, and the back of my bus ticket has a junk food advert. We have nowhere to go, all our youth clubs are shut, so I decide to go to town with my friends. And in Leicester, we have this place called Clock Tower. It's the center of town, just a massive tower, and it's basically like a circle, like a semicircle, like a horseshoe that's surrounding it with shops and restaurants around. There aren't any restaurants. They're all fast food outlets and all fast food shops. The only places for us to eat, the de facto food quarter, is junk food. And it's so appealing to us because it's free food, free Wi-Fi, free, we can charge our phones for free, and we're being welcomed. You've tapped into youth culture so well, and I feel so welcome. I feel like it's just the place to go. It really is no escape. And by the time I go home and I'm sitting on my bed and I scroll down my phone, my Instagram adverts have junk food on it, and I'm being bombarded by adverts, either when I'm playing PlayStation or I'm scrolling down my phone. It really is unescapable.
Yeah, unescapable indeed. And, you know, reading between the lines from what you're saying, it almost, you know, you're feeling exploited by this situation. So we said that there were going to be some, you know, uncomfortable moments listening to this. So, you know, what would you say to the people here who are feeling uncomfortable, who find this hard to hear?
Please, please listen to what we're saying. We're not here to make you angry or to cause problems. We're here to ask for your help. We need it.
Dev?
I think just to echo off the back of what Molly said, it's really, we're here to work with you. You have some of the brightest minds. You are super talented. You're brilliant. And we want you to use that talent to protect our health. This conversation is not over. We still have so much to do, and we need to work together. We have to work in alliance and partnership. There is a route and a way at making a profit whilst selling healthy foods, and we want to be on that journey with you.
So talking of that journey, Dave, you've been doing this since you were 14. So, what keeps you going?
I think the hope that this is solvable, that we can change this, and that this isn't over yet.
And so then, Molly, what keeps you feeling positive? How do you keep going?
I think the simple fact that this is all fixable, there are solutions. I mean, the power in this room is insane. Since we got here on Tuesday, I've spoken with so many influential people. I'll be honest with you, it's been a bit overwhelming. But having you all here together, all you brilliant, powerful companies, that's the start of change. That's the start of a conversation. You guys have the toolkit we need to mend this broken food system. I dream of a world where I can walk down my high street and I am not bombarded by junk food advertising, where there are safe places for me to go, where there are healthy options. I dream of a world where products don't have misleading health claims on them that make it so hard for me to eat healthily. I want you guys to imagine that world too, because you guys have the capability to bring that world to life.
Beautifully said. And Dev, what about you? If there was one thing you could change tomorrow, what would it be?
I think we all know in this room, we have to know that this problem is massive. And if there was one solution, one pill we could take, I mean, give me 1,000 of them, I'll down them right now, but there isn't. And we have to work together, and there are 1,001 solutions to be able to solve this crisis, which is quite vast. But if there's one thing at all, one solution that I hope you can take back today, is I want you to consider and start taking health seriously. Think about health in the way that you do climate. You all have chief sustainability officers. Climate is such a massive target. Where's the chief health officer? I want you all to go back to your rooms and take health seriously. Put your hand on your heart and think about children when you're making those decisions.
Thank you both very, very much. Now, these are the leaders, the influencers of today, the influencers of tomorrow. I can't thank you enough for having taken the time and coming here to open up your hearts to everybody here and ask for help. So please, I don't know how we can just kind of want to give you a warm hug. Thank you very much, and a big warm hand of applause.